Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. When you're walking the path of a warrior, all about self-mastery, mind, body, and soul becomes your lifestyle. You'll find that you spend a lot of time alone. You'll find that you like it though. When I used to be wrapped up in addiction and socializing with other people who were addicts, any time I had alone felt like torture. Because that's when my mind started working. That's when I had no choice but to think about shit, and it would fuck me up. So I'd just run down to the bar. I could be happy sitting there with just me and the bartender and some bum looking at a TV in a fucking dark room, do that for hours, than to sit at my house by myself, my apartment by myself, just be, all right, well, goddamn, going crazy inside my head. That's why weakness drives us to vice as an escape. That escape is weakness. That's all it is. The only way to strengthen yourself, the only way to get over that mental torture, to be able to be alone in yourself, in a room with yourself without getting fucked up, is to face that shit. Face those demons. Figure out what it is. What's driving me towards addiction? For me, it was love. I was so lonely. And I realized that if I can't get the love, then squeeze the love out of the people around me like a sponge, like the last couple drops of a sponge. Everybody felt like a dry sponge. I'm going to have to learn to give it to myself. I obviously had a lot of love to give because I felt like kind of bitter. Well, I give so much love to everybody and nobody gives me anything in return. Well, I learned to hold some of that shit back, give it to myself. It's not selfish. It's necessary. That's what everybody's doing except for me. That's what the game was everybody was playing except for me. I wasn't loving myself. I was bashing myself against the wall. I was living a life of self-destruction. You wonder why? That's what I wondered. Why am I like this? Why do I do this? It was all because of that depression, loneliness. As I have walked this path of the warrior, mind, body, and soul, every single day, daily discipline, I've conquered loneliness. I no longer feel it. I cherish my alone time now because it's time that I can use towards working on myself, towards reading, towards working out, towards making a good meal, shopping for good ingredients. I got a lot of shit to do now. I filled up a lot of that downtime that I had with my addictions. You notice when you have an addiction, you have a lot of time on your hands. Your whole life goes by. I fill that time with self-care, self-love, getting my projects done, crossing things off my list. But I have noticed that I do spend a good amount of time, percentage-wise, of my day and of my week alone. By choice. I mean, I've never been happier. And what I've realized is that this path of the warrior, it's not an easy path. It's daily discipline. And I put myself through a controlled form of suffering in order to get stronger. It's the type of suffering that strengthens you, that doesn't beat you down or weather you down. It strengthens you. And engaging on that path, being in this journey, is somewhat of a solitary path. You may find others. I've found a select few of people that are doing the same thing. Mind, body, and soul. They're all about it. And I like those people. And it's not that we just sit around talking about this stuff all the time. It's just nice to be associated with people that are trying, that are on the same struggle as you. Whether they're right next to you or behind you or in front of you. I have some people that are far in front of me. And I'm just glad to know somebody who's doing it. Because I know so many people from my past, so many people just in my life in general, who aren't doing shit towards their lives. And it's not that I've become judgmental. I really don't care how you choose to live your life. But I've talked about this before, about confidants and associates, about your connections and your confidants, having that inner circle. And being on this path, my inner circle has changed. The people that used to be in my inner circle, even 10 years ago, 5 or 10 years ago, are no longer there because I've grown. They haven't. And it's hard for me to have a tight bond, a loyalty bond, with people that are going nowhere in life, doing nothing in life. And I'm not trying to badmouth people that I know. I don't judge. But it's obvious when you're on a path of self-mastery, it's obvious when people aren't doing the work. It's like the dentist. You can't lie to the dentist. You can go in and be like, I floss all the time. The dentist just looks at you and is just like, whatever, dude. Shut up. I know what you do. I can see your teeth. I'm an expert in this shit. I'm the dentist. Shut up. You can't lie to your dentist. I brush regularly. And he's looking at your teeth and gums and is like, yeah, on what planet? What the fuck? Why lie? But it is a path that you'll walk alone, and you have to be prepared for that. Doesn't mean that you're going to dump your wife or you're going to stop liking your best friends. My best friend, I've known him since I was 15. We'll be best friends forever. But even between me and my best friend and the people that I've known for my whole life, they've had to accept the fact that I'm changing. I'm getting in better shape. I'm getting stronger. I'm becoming more resilient. I'm becoming more self-sufficient. I'm less needy of validation from others. I'm calmer. The old Sky who was highly aggressive, hyper-aggressive, that everybody had stories about. Lots of people have stories about me. That person is gone. And people have had to accept that. And some people, that's who they liked. You think it would be pretty easy to accept that, right? Well, you're so much cooler now. Yeah, but a lot of people started off the journey with me liking that old person. That's why they started becoming friends with me. It's because they liked that wild and crazy son of a bitch. It's just that I didn't like that person. It wasn't serving me. When something no longer serves you, you have a duty to change it, to change your location, to change your friendship circle. And get rid of the people or put people, that's why it's like an onion, it's concentric circles, it's layers. You may have to change your inner circle as you get stronger and change it up. People who used to be tight with you, that you used to use for validation purposes and things like that, you guys were bonding on your weakness. Now you're stronger. You may not need them for that. And you can't carry their weight. You still like them, you still respect them, you still love them, you have a history with them. But if they're not learning to get stronger, you're eventually going to go in a different direction. You're going to get further and further apart. And that's not always a bad thing. It can be strange to see people that you've known a long time kind of exit out of your life, fade out of your life. People that you used to think were really cool transform into not being so cool because you realize that that person is so incredibly weak and needy. And you only realize this stuff as you become stronger. The thing is you don't need people. I know that sounds morbid, but you don't need them. You should want them and cherish them. But part of survival and being self-sufficient isn't just being able to learn how to make a fire and a little hut. You should know how to do those things. I don't care if you're a city slicker. I'm a fucking city kid. I know how to do that shit. I can survive out in the woods like a motherfucker, like Rambo. I'm the guy you want to be with if this whole world descends into, anarchy and World War III and people have to go and fend for themselves. I'm an expert at that shit. But what's equally, if not more important, is that self-sufficiency inside of our head, inside of our brains. It's such an important aspect of survival. To get to a point of self-mastery where you don't need anyone. You want them. And there's a huge difference. You don't need your wife. You want her. You don't need your job. You want it. You don't need your car. You want it. You don't need friends. You want them. It's such a different, this is just alpha male 101. It's all food for thought. Thanks for watching.